Welcome back to Win or Bin, the place where we take a look at games and decide whether they're worth your time or whether they should be politely escorted to the nearest digital skip. Today we're looking at the demo for Metropolis 1998, a retro-inspired city builder that immediately caught my eye, and I'll say this straight away, I absolutely love the look of this game. It has this lovely voxel-style pixel art charm to it with the classic isometric city builder feel. You can definitely see inspiration from games like City Skylines, classic Sim City, and even, randomly, a bit of Roller Coaster Tycoon in the way it presents its buildings, roads, and little animated citizens going about their day. And honestly, visually, it really works. The biggest strength of Metropolis 1998 is easily its presentation. There's something very cozy about it. It's not loud, it's not stressful, and it doesn't feel like it's trying to overwhelm you every 5 seconds with graphs, disasters, and angry residents demanding a sewage pipe. It's much more laid back. One of my favourite touches is that you can actually see inside the buildings. So for example, if you build a library, you can see the desks, the books, and the interior layout. If you build a restaurant, you can see the food stations, tables, and all the little details inside. That sounds like a small thing, but in a city builder it adds so much character. It makes your city feel less like a spreadsheet with roads and more like an actual place where people are living their lives. There are also plenty of buildings to choose from, which helps keep things interesting as you expand. The UI at first can feel a bit fiddly, but the more you play, the more it starts to make sense. It becomes easier to use as you go on, and once you get into the rhythm of placing roads, buildings, and watching the citizens move around, it's quite satisfying. Another big feature is the option to design your own buildings, and this is surprisingly detailed. You can change colour schemes, furniture, room layouts, and really get into the weeds of how each building looks and functions. Now personally, I don't think I'd use all of that. I'm more of a give me the prefab and let me crack on sort of player. But for people who love customization, it's a really nice touch. You can see how some players could spend hours just designing the perfect shop, house, or public building. I also really like seeing the citizens driving around, going into buildings, and generally existing within their world. For an indie city builder, that's a lovely detail, and it gives the game a bit of personality. That said, it isn't all perfect. One thing I found a bit strange early on was the need to build a mayor's house and then put it up for sale, and having to build that house from scratch as well, using some of the processes I mentioned earlier. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but in the demo it felt oddly specific and not especially well explained. There are also some buildings that don't feel quite alive yet. A police station, for example, doesn't really seem to bring police cars or police-related action onto the map, so while the building looks the part, the world around it doesn't always react in the way you'd hope. Population growth also feels a little slow. You need to build up your population to unlock the next tier of buildings, but the pace can become a bit frustrating. I don't mind a relaxed city builder, but relaxed and slow are not always the same thing. There also needs to be some proper background music. For a game with such a cozy visual style, the lack of music makes the world feel a bit empty at times. A gentle soundtrack would go a long way here. And I would like to see more economy control. At the moment, it doesn't quite feel like there's enough management depth behind the pretty buildings. Taxes, budgets, service costs, and those sort of systems would make the game feel more complete. Overall, I do like Metropolis 1998. In fact, I like it quite a lot. But, and this is important, it's a very fine line between a win and a bin at this stage. The potential is absolutely there, the art style is lovely, the building interiors are brilliant, and the relaxed tone makes it a nice alternative to heavier city builders. But it does need more life, more movement, more feedback, more visible consequences, and more systems underneath the surface. It also needs to decide exactly what sort of city builder it wants to be. Is it about placing prefab buildings? Is it about designing every building yourself? Or should it lean more into zoning, where residential and commercial areas grow automatically? Any of those could work, but right now it feels like the game is trying to do a bit of everything. For a very early demo though, this is decent. It's charming, it's interesting, and it's clearly being made with care. So for now, Metropolis 1998 is a win, but it's a cautious win. There's a really good city builder hiding in there. It just needs a bit more life in the streets before it becomes something special. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. Please do like, subscribe or comment. Take care.